Today's story will tell about my first time experiencing a skinwalker. Well, it takes time back in 1982 when things was much simpler. Also, I thought. Me and the wife and the kids decided to go on a vacation up in the mountains in a little snowed-in cabin. Thought it'd do some good to get away from work for a bit. Well, when we got there, we had to leave our vehicle down the hill and catch a charter bus up to drop the families off at the designated cabins. On our way up, the driver was telling stories about how the mountains was owned by a Navajo tribe and skinwalkers and wendigos and all these fairy tales I didn't care much to listen to, but the kids loved it, so there we are. After he dropped us off, I think it was maybe around that second night. I can remember I was restless that night. Couldn't get any sleep. Got up around close to 3 a.m., go downstairs and get me some coffee. And as I made it out the bedroom, I heard tapping or rapping at the window coming from downstairs. And hell, we're in the middle of a snowstorm, so I ain't think much of it. As I was making my way down the stairs, I looked at the window where the rapping was coming from. And that's when I saw it. Saw my wife looking back in the window at me, and she was constantly tapping on the window. And that was strange because I didn't pay much attention, but I could have sworn my wife was laying in the bed next to me. But in a situation like this, you don't do much of thinking. You just see your wife out there in the cold and you act. So I hurried over to unlock the door and let that silly woman in. Now, my wife is a good-looking lady. Plain face, black long hair that come around her shoulder just like I like her. Wouldn't change a detail about her. As I got close to the door, I looked at her face and saw that she was smiling, ear to ear, showing her whole pearly whites. And for a second, I could have sworn her eyes glowed red. And she said, "Babe, open up the door. It's cold outside." So as I was done doing the latch, she kept talking and she said, "I went outside to get something from the car. That made my blood run cold. The car was down the mountain. We didn't bring the car up. So I knew something was wrong with that. And I looked back up and she had that same smile on her face, but this smile, it looked like it was going straight through me. It was a shiver went down my spine. As cold as it was, that shiver came straight from hell. And I knew then that wasn't my wife. And the person that appeared to be my wife kept saying, "Open the door." And I took a step back and she had got hostile. "Open the door. What are you doing? Open the door." But her voice had started to sound distorted. The tapping had become banging, like aggressive banging. And now she looked pissed. That's when I heard my wife's voice from up the stairs saying, "Baby, what's wrong? Are you coming back to bed?" And I looked up and saw my wife looking down at me from the stairs, and I turned quickly back to the window and no one was there. People may call it what they want. I call it a skinwalker, but I don't know. From what I've read, skinwalkers are some type of witch that can shapeshift or take the form of one thing or another. I don't know. But I know what I saw, and I know I wasn't crazy. Needless to say, that next morning, I got my family, we got our things, we got the hell out of there. Had never been back to that mountain, never gonna go. Here it is, years and decades later. And I still think about that mountain. I know what's up there.